everybody ready?
Yeah.
Chris, we'll turn it over to you.
All right, thanks again for coming out, and we're really excited this week to finally be able to play in the Doit in front of our home crowd and our students. But wrapping up Florida, like I shared after the game, certainly very proud of our team's effort. I thought the physicalness that we played with, I thought the effort that we got for 4 quarters was very strong. And for 3 quarters, we did pretty much everything we needed to do to stay in that football game and give ourselves a chance to win. And then in the 4th quarter, just the 2 turnovers, and really throughout the course of the game, we had a number of special teams breakdowns that I thought really hurt us. The 2 shank punts resulted directly in 10 points. Obviously, the 2 field goals hurt, not getting those points on the board. But also, we mishandled 2 kickoffs, which gave us field position on the 16 and the 23. The punt that we did not secure. And just, again, special teams was something that I thought a year ago was very strong. I think we were top 3 or 4 in the MAC overall special teams, and we had everybody back, and just did not perform as well as we needed to in a game like that. So, again, disappointing, but nonetheless very proud of our team's effort, and now we got to move forward and look ahead, and certainly excited to play Idaho. This has become a great series with them, kind of by accident, starting with the 09 Humanitarian Bowl, and then last year out at their place, and this is kind of the rubber match. So the series is 1-1, and we'd certainly like to finish with the upper hand in the series. But they've been a solid football team, a solid football program. Dominic Blackman is a very good-looking quarterback. We saw him in street clothes a year ago. I don't know all the details of why he didn't play last week, but I know he was a player they were very excited about having eligible, and certainly having him back will help them. They have a number of players. I think Ryan Bass and James Baker are both very good tailbacks. Bass is a transfer from Arizona State, and really has the ability to make you miss in space. And then Baker is just a load of a guy, a 230-pound back. So those guys will present challenges. The receiver, Veltong, it seems like we've been playing against him forever. I believe he played in the 09 bowl game. And defensively, they have a number of good players back. They're very active at linebacker. And I thought they were good in the secondary a year ago. So it should be a great matchup for us.
Dave, will you talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of having seen them last year?
Oh, I think for both of us, not a lot has changed since 09. They have a different offensive coordinator, but they're running the same offensive system. It's the same head coach, it's the same defensive system, and both sides of the ball are the same for us as well. So there's a familiarity with them. They're almost like a league opponent. We've played them so often. This will be the 3rd game against them in 4 years. So for Bowling Green and Idaho to know each other so well certainly is unusual. But we've just played them so much, and there's been great continuity on both staffs.
Is there any fear of familiarity? I mean, you know what they did, especially having gone into their place last year and beating them so handily.
Well, I just think last year we got off to a good start, and I think caught them by surprise a little bit early, and then the second half it was a pretty back and forth game. So I think once that game settled in, it was a lot more even and equal than the final score indicated. We had a couple of almost trick plays on them, and they hit one on us early too. But I think once everybody settled down, it was a very competitive football game. So, again, I think it's like any team that you play often, you know them well, and sometimes you know too much about them. I mean, we're still looking at the bowl game and some of the things they did in that game just because it's the same staff on both sides. So, a lot of ideas don't disappear, when you have the same coaches.
I know you weren't talking about moral victories when you went down there. You said we want to go down and try win the game in Gainesville. But do you feel like your team gained confidence through a loss when you play a team that tough in the Swan?
We'll find out as the year progresses. I mean, certainly there was the physical aspect of competing against them and holding up on the line of scrimmage was very encouraging. But Florida's a team that has tremendous skill, and they have the ability to make plays in space. And we gave up 21 points on 3 pretty bad missed tackles. That the ball was delivered to a guy, and their guy made us miss. So, is that because Florida is that good in those positions, or is it because maybe we're not as good as we thought we were in those positions? And those are things that you really don't find the answers to until the year goes on. Their 3 touchdowns were the result of 3 missed tackles. And for most of the game, we tackled them fairly well. I thought we were, you're never going to have a game you don't miss any tackles, but a lot of their plays didn't break out and we got them on the ground, but when we didn't, boy, they made us pay. And now that film is out and people see it, and those are guys that we think are good tacklers that miss those tackles. But that's a concern. The big plays we gave up, and the special teams is a concern too, because we really went into the year feeling that we'll take a step on offense and a step on defense, but really the special teams were probably the most solid unit we had. If you just looked at all of our rankings from a year ago, our punt team, our punt return, our kickoff return, we totaled them all up and put where we are. And last year we were in the top 3, top 4 in the MAC the whole year with really everybody back. So I probably was as disappointed in our special teams performance as anything we did offensively or defensively. I mean, we didn't field a punt, we didn't handle kickoffs. A punt, we almost had 2 punts blocked. I think we missed an opportunity twice to block their punts. It's a third of the snaps, however many snaps, but we lost so much field position, so many opportunities due to special teams, and that was really disappointing. A lot's been made of the field goals, and obviously it would have helped to hit those. But our guys have been kicking the ball so much better in practice. The percentages are way up. I'm not going to hit the panic button with that. I mean, those guys are still competing. Tyler Tate he'll get the kick this week, and not that at some point Steven Stein may not kick again for us. But that was a very neck and neck competition. I mean, their percentages were very close, and part of the competition is how you kick in games. And we certainly feel Tyler deserves an opportunity to see how he'll do.
What kinds of things can you do, Dave, to address the problems with special teams? Just be better? What can you do?
I mean, a lot of them are individual breakdowns. I mean, we miscalled a punt protection that cut a guy loose. I think the one kickoff we mishandled was a result of the noise, that there wasn't great communication between Boo Boo and John Pettigrew. That really should have been Boo Boo's kick, and it looked like it was short and it drifted, and John thought it was his, and he couldn't hear anything, and he wanted to secure the catch. But there's your opening kickoff, and you're starting the ball on the 16-yard line. And Ryan Burbrink is a good, he catches everything in practice, and he did not attack the ball in the way that a punt returner needs to save field position. And the one he tried to catch, he really should have fair caught because we had a block on. And you just hope that those are game 1 mistakes that get cleared up. In terms of that stuff overall, I thought our guys handled it well. I mean, for a game 1, we did not have a lot of penalties. We had the one by Anton that was really foolish, but other than that, we had 2 penalties for 10 yards, which is pretty clean for a game 1. So in a lot of ways, considering the environment, the atmosphere, I thought our discipline for a game 1 was pretty good, but that's something you got to constantly coach. I mean, that thing can rise up and change in a heartbeat if you don't stay on it.
I wanted to ask you about that penalty, the chomp. I know the company line is foolish bad, but was there any little bit of you that was sort of like kind of proud of the fact that they weren't backing down, they were standing up, they were showing confidence, and
there's not one ounce of me that was happy with that penalty. I mean, it's selfish, and he's not like that. I mean, he's a very humble. He's done everything right in our program since day 1, and it's very out of character. But that field position really hurt us. The resulting kickoff, they took past midfield. Our defense got a great stop. They pinned us inside the 10. We didn't get a first down. We shanked a punt, and now we're down by 3 points. And I prefer the confidence. It's a quiet confidence. The guys know that they're good. They know they belong. If you truly are that way, you don't have to show it with a gator chop or anything else. Those things are, to me, selfish penalties, and we certainly addressed it. And again, Anton's a great kid. I think he was excited and caught up in the moment, but that doesn't make it okay. And anything you do that costs the team 15 yards is never going to be taken as okay. I just think you let your playing do the talking for you. You don't need to do things like that.
To nitpick for just a second, I know he chomped, but he also gave a slash. Did you ever get an indication of, was it one or the other or the whole
I think
thing?
it was both. The official kind of indicated that he was going to let the chomp go out of excitement, but the slash made it a no-brainer. So, I mean, again, I've never seen him do that. He doesn't do it in practice. I mean, we teach our players that you score a touchdown, you hand the ball to the official, and you act like you've been there before. And he did exactly that. He scored, he handed the ball to the official, and did something I've never seen him do before. And, kids do that, but it doesn't make it okay.
With Idaho's quarterback, you have probably no film on him, no idea of anything other than he's left-handed probably and a big kid. How do you prepare for that, not having any idea what he's going to do, even though you know they'll probably run the same kind of scheme?
I think you got to prepare for the scheme and all the other personnel that's in place. It's hard to imagine they've practiced something all camp and then ran it the first game, and then you're going to completely switch it up game two. So you have to prepare for what they do. I'm sure they'll have wrinkles. I'm sure there's a skill set that he has that they're going to try to highlight like they would any quarterback. But I think you got to study what they've done, and you got to be prepared for the unexpected, which I think is every game.
You mentioned teams possibly taking things from your first game of the season. What did you take from their first game of the season? They sort of got whacked a little bit.
Well, again, somebody who coached at the FCS level for a lot of years, Eastern Washington won the national championship 2 years ago. It's not like that's a run-of-the-mill FCS team. That's one of the elite teams at that level. And I think, game one without your starting quarterback, I think they had a lot of adversity going that they probably didn't plan on. So I don't underestimate how good Eastern Washington is. They're a very good football team, and they almost beat Washington last year at Washington. So they played a very good team without their starting quarterback.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
All right, nice try.